Okay, welcome everybody. In the previous video, we learned about the bones, why are they important, and their parenting. Today, we will look at a little advanced topic. Well, it is not really an advanced topic, it is really easy to understand. Just the names are advanced. The names are inverse kinematics and forward kinematics. I know they sound pretty scary, but trust me, they are not. Inverse kinematics and forward kinematics are methods used by animators to move the bones. But before an animator could use them, a rigger have to create them. Okay, so now let's take a look at what they are. I have two arms here. This one is FK and this one is IK. You will see that IK has an extra bone and we will understand why it is. First of all, let's take a look at forward kinematics. It is really simple. You just have three bones connected with each other and you have to move bones in hierarchy. First of all, you will have to move the arm bone, then forearm bone, then hand bone. You can animate the arm using these transforms. Okay, now let's take a look at inverse kinematics. I find it much easier to animate, but nerds will find this one easier, I think. But I'm not too. Oh, okay, leave it. Okay, let's take a look at what inverse kinematic is. If you switch to pose mode in this one, in inverse kinematics, I just have to move one bone only. Magic! The movement for other bones will automatically be calculated. I just have to place the hand somewhere or where I need it to be, and the position for the arm will automatically be calculated. Now let's take a look at in which task they are best at. FK is usually best at circular motions. For example, if I switch to pose mode, I want a circular motion for this. Maybe I want this hand to throw a ball or just perform a circular motion. Then I will just I will just make it straight and I can easily perform a circular motion. Now let's try it with the IK. I will hide the FK one and let's switch to pose mode in this one. Let's try to make a circular motion, but before that, let's make it straight. Now let's go back to frame 0 or 1, insert a keyframe here, then move to the frame 24, rotate the arm and bring it right here. You can see that there are more transformations that we have to make. For example, if we look at it again, if I bring it right here, then the hand is in a weird position and I have to rotate it. Whereas in FK, I just had to rotate this one. Now let's press I and let's see what it does. Well, it is not really a circular motion because the arm is not straight here. It calculated the motion from here to here, something like this, in a line. But in FK, we actually calculated the rotation. So maybe that is why it is harder. Now let's make our arm straight and insert a keyframe here. You can see it is still not that smooth. It bends and do some weird stuff, but it could be solved, but you get the idea that it is harder. But earlier in the video, I said that I find it much easier to animate with IK instead of FK. Why is that? Even though I showed you that rotation motion is easier with this one. Well, because there are some more things. Now let's take a look at them. Assume this is a table. Let's make it smaller maybe. And you have to place the hand on it. How will you do it? In IK, you just go to pose mode, grab the bone, and position it on the table. Please ignore the hand because we have not added the bones on it. But you can see that it is much easier. Actually, not yet, but it is much easier. You just grab the bone and place on the table. But instead, with FK, you will look. It is much harder. Let's hide the IK one and bring the FK one down. How will you do it? You go to pose mode. First of all, rotate it again, rotate in Y direction, and then rotate in Y again. And you can already see that there are much more steps than IK. In IK, we just grab this bone and placed it right here. But instead, in FK, you can't really do that. You can't really grab the bone. You just have to rotate because you have to move in hierarchy. But in IK, you just grab and place it. That's why I find it much more easier. Both have their own advantages. I don't really criticize anyone. Okay, we have understood what IK and FK is. Now let's see how we can create them. So first of all, let me delete these. First of all, let's create FK. It is really simple because you just have to add the bone. If you have already added the armature, you just press Shift A and it will add a bone. Then grab the tail and place it at the right position. See it from the all directions that it is on the right position. Move it again if needed. Extrude by pressing E. Then place the tail again at the right position. See from the other angles. Extrude again. And we have our simple FK setup. That is it. Nothing more. If you go in pose mode, you can see that they are connected and have movement. Let me adjust the position of this one first. Now let's parent our arm to the armature. Just select the arm, then select the armature, then press Ctrl P and choose with automatic weights. Armature deform with automatic weights. And that is it. Now if you move the bones, the arm will also move. Okay, we have understood how to create FK. It was really simple. Now IK is also really simple, just few more new things are introduced. So let's see. Let me duplicate this one because we will use this same setup. Now go to edit mode. Sorry, select the armature and go to edit mode. To create the IK, we have to add a new bone. That new bone will control the arm. Uh, so let's select the tail of our forearm bone and extrude it. I will make it a little bigger than the hand bone so that we can visually see it. Adjust the position so they are almost like overlapping each other because this hand bone will also follow the IK control bone. Now go to pose mode, go to bone constraints and add a inverse kinematics constraint. Select the target to be armature and select our new added bone. Now you can see that the tail of our hand bone has been attached to the control bone. And if you try to move the control bone, it should move the arm. Oh, we got a little problem. Actually, I noticed this before that the arm will not move, but I decided to keep it and decided to solve it with you guys so that you can also learn. Now, let's see how we can solve it. Just go to edit mode and select our control bone. The problem happened because this control bone is connected to this forearm bone. If you try to grab it, you can see that these two bones also move, which means that this bone is connected to this forearm bone and also this one. To disconnect it, just press Alt P and disconnect bone. Also, we have to clear the parent. Yes, this can also create the problems. So you have to clear the parent and disconnect bone. You can simply press clear parent and it will disconnect the bone, also will clear the parent. But I had to explain, so I did it one by one. Now let's switch back to pose mode and it should work. Yes, you can see that when we move this bone, it also moves the arm. But this is this is weird because it changed the default position of our arm. It happened because the tail of our hand bone decided to connect with the head of our control bone. You can change this if you uncheck the use tail from constraint, it will connect the head instead. Now when you move the bone, it is much better because it maintains the default position. There are some more things we need to look at. There is something called chain length. Basically, it will tell that how much bones it should control from starting to end. If we make it 1, then you can see this line going from our hand bone to the forearm bone. It will only control the forearm bone now. We need 2 because our arm has 2 bones. Select the hand bone and make it 2. Now it will control 2 bones. If you increase this, for example, if you have full body, it will try to control the full body, which is not ideal. So when making IK for the arm, we usually go for 2. Now you have made your first IK. Congratulations, you have understood IK.